I talk about some of the lessons I've learnt in life, and that was still to this day one of the biggest ones where I had this moment of clarity, where I thought, you know what, I probably should get a job. Everyone was telling me, you know, go get an apprenticeship because it'll be a skill you'll have your whole life. And in
Mm-hmm.
the end, I just went, I'd rather do this other thing though. I'm just going to go and do the thing that I want to do, and not the
Mm-hmm.
thing that I should do. And
Mm.
because even 17-year-old me, just because I don't want to be old and have this regret that I never tried this infantry thing that I was interested in. It probably wasn't the I didn't want the I didn't consider the challenge of going to war on operations when I was young,
Mm-hmm.
but what I was interested in the challenge of was the hardship in life. It was probably
Mm-hmm.
out of the Vietnam novels that I was reading, where guys are carrying heavy packs up mountains and living in the jungle and the rain, and it was the
Mm-hmm.
hardship that I thought would be challenging in the infantry. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of why I went and did it. And yeah,
Yeah,
as you
that's
said, Kapuka Singo and off to 1RR in Townsville.
yeah, that's a great reflection, mate. Because I was actually going to ask, what made you decide to turn down the mechanic apprenticeship and and join the infantry? Um, because yeah, like there's definitely something to what you just said there about guys wanting to challenge themselves and seeing, you know, the fucking hardship that these dudes are going through and going, you know what, I want to be involved in that. Like
Yeah,
you got to have like a little bit of a like your mental chip needs to be a little bit different to want to go, you know what, I want to put myself in these situations. I want to fucking test myself. And I'm sure that just grew as you went through your military career. Obviously, you ended up like going for selection, making it through, and you know we'll go into that. But there's definitely something different about guys that decide they want to test
yeah.
themselves.
I wasn't, as a 17-year-old, I absolutely wasn't thoughtful enough to think that the reason I want to do it is because it'll make me a better person, which
Mm.
I 100% believe now. The more hardship you can face, the mentally stronger you'll get, and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And
Within reason.
yeah, you also don't want to suffer either. Like there wasn't this part of me that just wanted to go and suffer in the army
Mm-hmm.
doing hard things, but it was just the challenge. I suppose it's probably, you would know better than me. It's maybe not too different to a sportsman who sets high goals for themselves. I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah, you wanted to
I think
challenge and you wanted to see how, if you could handle it, how good you could be.
yeah, man, that's interesting. You bring that up. That just sparked a thought for me. Is I did a post on social media about this probably like a year ago, maybe, and I was talking about how society these days, and this is controversial, and this will probably piss some people off, but society for the most part is pretty fucking weak, man. Back in the day, we lived in these tribes, and we would have like a rite of passage, and the weak didn't survive, the strong survived and passed on their genes, and you'd have a rite of passage where you had to prove yourself to be accepted by the tribe. And these days, like, we live in this soft society where it's not necessarily a bad thing, but there's certain skills that are lacking, and people are getting softer, and people don't know how to deal with adversity. So many people are really struggling with this last year, going through the pandemic because of XYZ, and I understand that. However, if you look back in history, man, like, this is the safest time to be alive in human history, yet the way that people are acting and responding and fucking carrying on, it's like this, the world's falling apart. So I really think there's something special to, as you said, doing something that's going to challenge you, that's going to test you. And for males in particular, it is like that rite of passage. All right, I'm going to fucking sign up. I'm going to join the military. I'm going to test myself. I'm going to put myself in a competitive alpha male type environment. I'm going to see where I fucking stand.
Yeah, I said it a moment ago. Like, I'm a big believer that growth comes from when you're outside your comfort zone. When life for us in Western societies, is comfortable, and you get looked
Mm-hmm.
after, and there are, I don't, I'm not a big money person. I don't chase money, and without that, as a drama, we don't have a lot of survival issues. I'm a big believer. I'm a big fan of quote by Bruce Lee: "Don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to be able to endure a difficult one." Because if you
I love that.
are able to endure a difficult life, when you finally get to the end of it, whenever that might be, you'll be a better person than you otherwise would have been if you just, everything was handed to you on a platter from start to finish. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant, man. I want to piggyback off that as well and add my favourite quote, which is, the greatest gift that you can give someone else is the ability to deal with adversity.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep. Good.
Yeah, I love that, man.